Are you prepared to leave your business? Find out how. Hi, I'm Norman A. Hood, financial advisor and host of the Exit Plan Show. I interview America's top advisors to help business owners enjoy more freedom, grow their companies faster, and retire someday on their own terms. Back again today is William L. Circle of Sinago in Macomb, Illinois. Bill has a master's degree in clinical psychology from Western Illinois University. He's a licensed clinical counselor, an executive coach, and a family business consultant in the exit planning process. Welcome back to the show, Bill.
Thank you, Norm.
Today we're going to talk about family business transition preparation. We've talked about communication, we've talked about unity. Now we're going to talk about preparing, to exit the business. And we're going to look at two different areas. One is family roles, and number two is kind of how do you go about preparing. So let's first talk about family roles.
Okay. A lot of times when people think about transitioning a business, they think about the finances and how they're going to do all that. Equally important is being able to transition roles. Roles are the part that you play within the business. They're different than a position. You may be an owner, you may be a manager, you may have the title of a president. A role is more like, are you a social leader? Are you a follower? Are you a manager? Are you, those are more the roles that people have compared to position.
Okay, good. I never thought about that. That makes a lot of sense. Never crossed my mind.
They're quite different.
Yeah. And I suppose that's overlooked sometimes.
A lot of times people in the position don't really have the role of that position.
Okay, so they're given a position, but somebody else really plays the role of what happens with that and how things go. Okay.
Example, that might be a task manager. Okay. That's a role. A manager is the position, but they may arrange things, but they may be kind of laid back, easygoing, and they don't really get much accomplished. But someone underneath their authority may be the real pusher, and they are in the role of the task manager.
Okay, good. So in this process of preparing to transfer business from one generation to the next, suppose I came to you and I said, Bill, we've had this business for 10 years and I'm slowing down. I'd kind of like to turn this over to my kids. What do I need to do? So tell me, how do I prepare for that?
Okay. You look at what the positions are. That's where you start. If you're being in that position of the leader of the company and you're going to be grooming someone else to take over that position, you have to prepare for that on both sides. Preparing the younger person coming in, the general stepping process for that is you identify what are the needs of the position itself. In order to do that, we can do what we call a position classification inventory. And just a little questionnaire that you fill out, and it says this is what the skills are needed for this position, or the abilities, or it defines the position. Then you also do an assessment of the person coming into that position. My favorite is what we call a 360 inventory, and you have people all around the person answering questions about that person. So a boss would, a equal colleague, someone that person has supervised, they're all answering questions about the person, and that gives you where their strengths and weaknesses are. Then you can compare the two. And you find out where the gaps are, where the strengths are, and then you can groom that person into what the position needs to be taken over. That takes time. That's an apprentice type of a position. So the apprentice has to learn these skills. Equally important is for the mentor, or the person that's already in that position, they have to change roles too. If they've been in that leadership position, they're going to have to learn to let go of some of that. They're going to have to let the new person come in, learn. They're going to have to allow for some mistakes to be made. The new person may want to make some changes from the way things have always been done. And so the person that's in that leadership role already is going to have to be able to step back in order to allow the new person to assume that role. And that can be really hard. To give up, you've spent your whole life building this company, and now you're going to say, I'm going to step back and turn this over to someone else. That can be a really hard transition.
Probably hard to do, and then step away and not keep coming back and second guessing.
But if you do that, if you keep coming back and second guessing, then the person that you're grooming to take over that transition, he's going to struggle, or she. Because they're not going to be building their confidence. And that's actually a very common problem that some businesses have.
Okay. So everybody gets frustrated
Mm-hmm.
and sometimes nothing happens.
What will generally happen is the process goes through and the mentor isn't able to make that transition, so it doesn't occur as far as handing it off to the person you've been grooming. That person may get frustrated. They may look somewhere else for a job, or if that transition does happen, after it occurs, then the company could take a nosedive because the younger person has not been prepared.
Okay. Yeah, I've seen that happen a lot. So. Okay, so just any wrap up, any parting advice? What do you think what's the most important part of everything we've talked about today?
The keys are to understand the difference between a role and a position, between the function that someone plays and the title that they have. The second part is being able to identify what are the needs of the position and what are the skills, abilities of the person that's going to be moving into that position. You got to work through all that, and then you've got to be willing to let go and let that transition happen. Okay,
good advice. If you want more information from Bill, you can check our show notes. You can visit his website. You can call him. You can leave comments below this episode. I've been working with family business owners for almost 40 years now, and got really interested in exit planning the last few years. And one of the things that I never really understood was how important the emotional side of exit planning is compared to the financial side. I've been dealing with finances all my life, but this is truly an area that people need help in, and they need help before they start. So, feel free to reach out to Bill for more information, and we'll see you back for the next episode.